Oh my god.
That about wraps us up for this episode of Dog with a Pod, the Dog with a Blog rewatch podcast.
You know, I know I say this basically every episode, but Freaky Fido, I think, is my favorite, at least of the season.
It's a really good homage.
Yeah. Mary, thank you so much for coming by to guest on this episode. I know you're really busy with Into the Blog, so I appreciate you taking the time out.
But yeah, tell us about your Dog with a Blog podcast.
Yeah, so Into the Blog is a Dog with a Blog podcast that I host with my friend AJ, who, if you can believe it, has never seen a single episode of Dog with a Blog.
What? Where's he been?
I don't know, he's just been busy the last however many years it's been. Yeah, so I just take him through each episode of Dog with a Blog. I get his predictions, his reactions, and we just kind of compare notes.
That must be a fun time. And until next time...
Oh no! I'm a dog! All right, Mary, you can stop recording. Send that to the Google Drive folder I just linked to.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mary. Have a good day. So, all right. Should I close Audacity now, or I mean, I don't know. We got time. Do you want to do Gravity Falls today also?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Alexa and David said today was actually the best day to record.
Okay.
So
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do Dreamscaperers then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. Should I? All right. Let me open a new recording, I guess.
No. Just keep this one going. I could figure out the right point to cut.
Okay. Take me back to the place I know, with the mystery shack and the forest gnomes. I'm already packed, so come on, let's go. Don't get me started, my heart's in Gravity Falls.
Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back, a nostalgic time capsule and no spoiler book club of the original Gravity Falls fandom. We are your curators. I'm Charlie.
I'm Ella.
And today we are doing part 1 of the 2-part season 1 finale. So, back with us from our Tourist Trapped episode, season 1, episode 1, is Alexa Cuison.
Yes. Woo! I just love that you said my last name correctly again. My ears.
That's what we do around here. We check how to pronounce names, sometimes in the moment.
Now, this is a problem, because I don't know if I know David's last name, and I have to establish that you brought in a +1 to this podcast.
That's so funny, because David's last name is easier to pronounce for a lot of people.
Oh, sorry. Hi, David.
Oh, hi. You know, I'm. It's funny that, like, how many episodes of my podcast have you listened to?
You
where I say my full name every single episode.
David Spencer.
Hey!
Okay.
I was gonna say, as my hint, is that in high school, Team Fortress 2 had just come out, so of course I had to dress up as a D. Spencer because I am D. Spencer.
That's so good. I've got a similar one. I'm Charlie M, so my name is Charm.
Oh.
So, Alexa, after we introduced you to Gravity Falls in episode 1, Tourist Trapped, you have since caught up with the show up to this point and watched it along with your husband, David.
That's so crazy. My name's David, too.
Yes, David, that's you. Yeah, that's
Oh!
I forgot to tell you, I brought you on as my +1 because you are my husband that I've been watching it with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he finds out he's married.
Exactly.
To you. Yeah. And that's his reaction. It's just, oh.
That's why you make me eggs every morning. Anyway, so.
That explains the eggs.
Explains the
I
eggs.
was doing that out of the kindness of my heart. That's totally something I would do.
Oh.
So, what do you guys think of the show Gravity Falls?
Okay, so I just want to say, when I first came on and both of you were like, wow, you are so in tune with this show, I had no idea how far that statement was going to go, because every time something happened that I predicted, kind of, I was like, that's why they said that. That's why. Oh, I was just like, because especially when Mabel dated someone who was not of this world.
Right.
Like, that was definitely one of the ones where I was like, oh, there it is. Okay, I predicted that.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Grunkle Stan having some kind of love. And there was a whole backstory of him being in love with someone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of things. I don't remember, like, everything, but those were of course I remember all the ones that have to do with like a love story.
Oh, you pointed out that there had to be some kind of bear, and then the multi-bear showed up.
That was true. Yeah,
Yes, there was a I didn't even catch that. Oh my goodness. That was a throwaway joke that became bigger. Oh, I said robotic bear, and then there was a
Well, you said there has to be some kind of bear, and then you went with robotic.
And the some kind of bear did show up, and
There was several kinds of bear.
Yeah,
He was many bears.
There was many bears, and
The great thing about being multi-bear.
is there's so many bears.
You can be any bear you want. Yeah.
And David, other than mentions here and there on your podcast, Come On Fahuka Pods, a Homestar Runner podcast.
Fantastic podcast. Definitely check it out.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic podcast that both Alexa and David are on. We have not really heard much of David's thoughts on Gravity Falls.
Yeah, I am definitely enjoying it quite a bit. I have to say, I'm not usually one to, this is like nothing against anything. It's just a personal preference. I'm not usually one to watch like children's animation shows. I don't know why, just most of those shows don't really appeal to me. There's been lots of shows that like I've tried getting into, like Adventure Time or stuff that I don't know. For whatever reason, a lot of it isn't for me. But I think what I do really like about this show is I'm really into weird genre stuff. I know Charlie keeps making Community references just for me, which that show is all about playing with genre. And I think also a show set in the middle of the woods in the Pacific Northwest also speaks to my childhood summers. Although I have to say my childhood summers in the Pacific Northwest were not nearly as fun and magical as this.
But what were yours like? What did you do? You didn't find gnomes and stuff?
This was being in so I spent a couple of summers as a kid growing up in a tiny town on the border of Washington and Idaho.
Did you call that collective region Washaho?
Oh, I should have. I do remember, though, we would always go to my aunt's house, and that very much feels like a Grunkle Stan type of place.
Oh, yeah. As we said, a lot of the premise is based off of Alex Hirsch grew up having to spend summers at his great aunt's house.
Yep. Absolutely. And we ran into a bear and everything. It was crazy.
How many heads did it have?
Just the one, but we were wandering down by the creek, like 15-minute walk away from the house, off in the woods where nobody was.
That you knew of, that you could see.
Yeah, and I remember we had my cousin's friend who we kept referring to as a city girl because she was raised in the city of Spokane. So she was way much of a city person and just did not know how to live in the woods. And then all of a sudden she just says, "Oh, look over there, guys. It's a baby bear," which the rest of us immediately knew that meant we had to run away very, very quickly, because if you see a baby animal in the wild...
Because obviously baby bears always travel alone.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing an adult animal, you're probably safe. Like, if I see a giant buck with big antlers, I'm like, that's fine. If I see a fawn, I bolt. I run in the other direction.
And so I definitely appreciate that aspect of things, and I definitely feel like the weird stories that me and my brother would make up to pass the time as we wandered the woods.
Through Gravity.
No wonder you connect with this show out of all the other cartoons.
Absolutely. So the property we lived on was like this massive, like 100-acre woods.
Oh, bother.
We would just be wandering around. I remember even trying to like map our woods once. It was a lot.
So you said you couldn't really get into children's media. Well, like, this is the perfect children's show for you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because Alex Hirsch could not either. He has never watched a Disney Channel TV show in his entire life prior to this.
Right, at the time that he was doing what you were doing, he was watching The Simpsons all the time. You know, he kind of skipped that step.
Yeah, he said he never missed an episode of The Simpsons from age 8 to 18, which
Correct.
means the only time he even would have watched children's cartoons is 7 and younger.
Right.
So I've always described what he's really trying to do is not change the landscape of children's cartoons. He's just trying to put Futurama's continuity and secret codes in Simpsons family dynamic and Weird Town.
You know, I gotta say, I think this is because I haven't watched a lot of, like, children's media. And I think part of that also is that, like, those summers we didn't have a TV. So I did not grow up with a lot of, like, these shows as well. And so I think that might be part of the reason why it's like this era of, or basically that whole genre of storytelling is kind of like a black hole to me.
Yeah.
But I think I was a little surprised at how I was expecting more continuity based on the way that everybody talks about this show.
Interesting.
And, like, from what we've seen so far, I'm like, it seems like it's all still pretty standalone, and maybe, like, there's one or two things that come by. But I keep getting this feeling that it's all going to come together in one grand plan.
It's definitely being built through small things, such as, like, Mabel wins the pet pig, and then the pig is still there. The pig's a part of the family, and then...
The one piece of, like, children's media that I did get into and still absolutely love and adore is Avatar: The Last Airbender. And that is, of course, much more of a, like, serialized story.
Oh, for sure serialized, yeah.
Well, I think Gravity Falls gets there. There was a saying in the staff, season 1, season fun, season 2, season continuity. And it's exciting that we have you on for this episode because this really is the connective tissue between season 1 and season 2.
I guess it's not unlike Avatar.
Okay.
Season 1 being relatively
every episode kind of being standalone.
So David, you have that bizarrely coincidental connection to Gravity Falls in your past, but I want to talk about another one because in our episode about The Deep End with your co-host from Google Pods, Michael, William Hunter, we touched on this story, but I want to hear it from you two. I want to hear it from the sources. How did you two meet?
Yeah, so as Alexa was saying, we met because, well, we're both working at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in Hollywood, California,
where dreams come
was
true. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. So
a wax museum where dreams come true sounds like an episode of Gravity Falls.
And that's also how I met him, was that he was angry, but he was in his cute little wax museum outfit. I totally had a crush on him first, just letting everyone know.
You're Mabel. We know this.
I'm Mabel. I totally...
Look at that wax museum employee.
So cute. Like, oh my... It's funny that people have been saying that I'm like the adult Mabel, because more and more I feel that so hard. And I think I said this to Charley too, in a DM or something. I said that David, if Dipper was not related to Mabel, David has Dipper's essence, I would say. Because I don't want to say that Mabel married Dipper. It's terrible.
No.
We're not saying that. I'm just saying that, I'm definitely Mabel 100%. David has the essence of Dipper.
David, what are some particular moments in which you connected with the Dipper character?
I mean, probably like clicking a pen incessantly while reading a mystery. That definitely sounds like something I would do.
Which is also them dunking on Alex Hirsch, as we discussed in that podcast.
I mean, right now I'm fiddling with a broken doorstop, so I definitely always have to be doing something with my hands.
How does a doorstop break? Doesn't it have to just sit there?
No, it's like the thing.
Oh, you mean the door, the kind that hinges?
The thing that's like on the door that like runs into the wall. The thing,
little springy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's not making any noises.
No,
it's not.
All right.
I don't hear anything.
Before we move on, Alexa, because you have been on the show twice, we can no longer call you a guest. if Ella and I are the curators of this museum, you are now a docent.
We have a little ceremony that we like to do.
That sounds serious.
As
I love
of
it.
one episode ago. It's very serious. You have to take this very seriously.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So I want you to raise your right hand.
Okay, good.
And place your other hand on this Journal 3.
Got it.
Right from the show. It's a cartoon book.
I'm actually doing it.
Yeah. And repeat after me. I, state your name.
Alexa, that's my name. Sorry, I forgot. Okay.
You were going to say
Alexa?
Mabel, weren't you?
I was about to say Mabel. Yes.
Do solemnly swear to uphold
Do solemnly swear to uphold
the duties of a Mystery Shack Look Back docent.
the duties of Mystery Shack docent.
Good enough. To preserve the history
To preserve the history
and protect the mystery
and protect the mystery
of the Gravity Falls fandom.
of the Gravity Falls fandom.
To make sure everyone in the Hall of Conspiracies has a hall pass.
To make sure everyone in the Hall of Conspiracies has a hall pass
And a conspiracy pass.
and a conspiracy pass.
And I promise
And I promise
to give Ella and Charlie $50 each.
to give Ella and Charlie a lot of affection in as long as they consent. And I mean affection like friendly affection. That's what I mean.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Alexa. You're now a docent of this podcast.
I'm
Yay!
a docent. I love it. How do you like
Alexa,
me now, Ma?
does that mean you can get me into the museum for free?
At a discount, yeah.
A very, very small discount.
Yeah, now that's discounted to just $50 to one of us, David. All right, I guess without further ado, Dreamscaperers is the 19th episode of the first season of Gravity Falls.
Dreamscaperers?
Yes, it is. It is not Dreamscapers. It is Dreamscaperers.
I don't know why it is titled like a Rugrats episode.
I didn't. It's one of those things where it's so ingrained in me. It's kind of like how on SpongeBob, instead of leaf blowers, they have reef blowers. And so I instinctively say reef blowers because the parody thing is so ingrained in my head. I always just say, yeah, Dreamscaperers. It's a normal word.
It premiered July 12th, 2013 on Disney Channel. It was directed by Joe Pitt and John Aoshima and written by Tim McKeown, Alex Hirsch, and Matt Chapman.
Hey!
Friday, July 12th.
You'll never see the Mystery Shack again!
Good luck, bucko. They always go head to head.
This is the last straw!
But this time, Gideon gets inside Grunkle Stan's head.
It worked!
And only Mabel and Dipper can stop him.
Oh, yeah?
Take a trip to the most mysterious, creepiest,
Hey, Mr. Tummy.
strangest Gravity Falls yet.
Arm thrown. Arm thrown.
Friday, July 12th at 9, 8 Central on Disney Channel.
We just watched Dreamscaperers. Hey, Alexa and David, what did you think of that?
Hey, Alexa.
And me.
What do you think of this?
That was emotional. Very emotional. I did not expect, I thought I was legitimately going to cry in front of all of you today. Yeah, I was not expecting to have the tears at this moment. Usually it happens like in season 2 or something.
Yeah.
But no, there was a lot of things that kind of, it really hit me in my mind's eye, I would say. Like,
Interesting.
there were
Interesting choice of words.
yeah, I don't even know if that even made any sense, but that's the feelings that I got. Like,
Yeah.
the mind, the eye, there were so many minds, so many eyes, and
There
it hit
were.
me all over. So,
Yeah.
it all started when, Mabel just wanted to watch a movie with cute people in it, and I was just like, yes.
Of course.
And of course, the cute people came to life. And that's something that we all wish for, is when we watch something and we just hope that the people that we have a crush on, join us on our adventures. And then they got hurt.
Even if they have nothing to contribute.
Exactly.
I saw David laugh at every single Craz and Xyler
Oh,
Dream Boys.
absolutely.
They are
Absolutely.
the MVPs of this episode. Okay, so I don't know if either of you realized, but we've seen them before.
Oh, really?
They briefly show up in Legend of the Gobblewonker.
You can look, but you can't touch. Squeak, 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 squeak. Squeak,
There, they are voiced by Justin Roiland. In this episode, They are voiced by Greg Cipher, most famous for playing Beast Boy on Teen Titans, and Michelangelo in the 2012 Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, so he voices Craz.
He's just like that. I saw a TikTok of someone meeting him recently, and they're like, so you were the voice of Beast Boy, and he's like, nah, it was, brother.
And the voice of Xyler is John Roberts, who also voices Linda Belcher on Bob's Burgers.
No, Ella, who only voices Linda Belcher.
Only otherwise voices Linda Belcher.
Every time he has ever been on a TV show other than this, it has been to do his Linda voice.
Yeah.
He, prior to Bob's Burgers, was most famous for doing that voice in a series of viral YouTube videos.
So it's interesting that Greg Cipher makes the most sense to voice this character, and John Roberts makes the least sense, so it's a very interesting combination.
But Bob's Burgers cast is mostly picked from the New York stand-up scene. That's why Kristen Schaal is in it. So I bet it was Kristen Schaal that recommended her friend and castmate John.
So that's why we get a little mother and daughter reunion in the form of Dream Boy and 12-year-old girl.
I do like that they were super supportive too the entire time.
Yeah.
That they are like the ultimate himbos.
And I think it's very clear to you, too, who host a Homestar Runner podcast talking about the web series created by Matt Chapman, that every single line they said, down to their names, Craz and Xyler, were written by Matt Chapman.
Everything about them, like the moment that they were on screen, I was like, this feels so much out of the brain of Matt Chapman. The 80s animation of it all, the like that kind of ridiculous buffoon energy.
I love motion. Use of like the vocabulary.
Over the top positivity. It screams Free Country USA.
And originally, they were not supposed to be from the mind of Matt Chapman in fiction. They were supposed to be from the mind of Mabel, because the original story was that they would go to each person's brain, and once they had to rewrite it to just take place in Stan's brain, everyone felt guilty that they had to scrap Craz and Xyler. So they're like, let's just put them here. It doesn't matter. There doesn't need to be a reason for it.
I also love that there's not any like there's no like payoff to them either. It's not like they're set up at the beginning for there to be they're not necessary to the plot in any sense, which kind of makes their presence even better.
They do contribute the power of synthesized music, which apparently hurts.
Well, it hurts. Let's talk about him. The triangle-shaped elephant in the room. Or let's ask you to talk about him. David and Alexa, who is Bill Cipher from what you have observed?
He's like this triangle guy.
See, okay, the whole time I was like, okay, don't call him Mr. Peanut Triangle. Don't do it. And then that's all I could think of the entire time. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. And the whole time I was just like, when I saw him and I saw him die, it was like Mr. Peanut died all over again. So it was just like,
oh, so now there's gonna be a baby Bill?
Baby Bill. Oh,
but it was pretty clear to me at the time of the airing of this episode that we were being introduced to the main villain of the series. I think this episode sets that up. I think that's not a spoiler to say.
Yeah, and what Charlie said about his status as a villain is interesting because he was initially written as more of a Q from Star Trek-esque nuisance, specifically to Dipper. He was written as a foil to Dipper because Dipper is a guy who wants to know everything.
Yeah, all of the main characters have foils. So, yeah, Mabel has Pacifica, Stan has Gideon. That is their opposite. Stan is old and ornery and secretly a nice person. There is a young and happy evil person as his opposite.
Right, and Mabel does not really care what anyone thinks of her, and Pacifica cares very much what everyone thinks of her.
That's true.
Dipper is very stressed that he does not know the answers to deep questions, so they conceived someone who knows everything and doesn't care.
Right.
It's funny that they did not intend him to be a major villain, because I don't know how you could introduce a character whose powers exceed imagination and not have him be the main villain of the show.
I think it was originally written as just sometimes, he'd appear in a dream and annoy Dipper with like, oh, I know all these secrets and I'm not going to tell you.
But what did you think of him in his final iteration as we saw him in this episode. I think he's a much more threatening villain than we've had thus far in the show.
That's so funny because the entire time, and this could be another theory that I have of Mr. Bill Cipher, I feel like he's not going to be a villain for very long. That's just a prediction that I have. I don't know. There was something about him. I think because he showed
he did seem
a little
to let
bit
them
of
win. He kind of
this is the word I can't say. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. Anyway, and I don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you have all this imagination, and the way you reacted was you were just a little peeved about it. There's something about you, Mr. Bill Cipher. And
there you go. Here you go, champ.
And
you go. Buy yourself something nice.
When he says lots of things, a number of images flash by on his face, including, I believe, JFK and the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah, it's that kind of, I think that kind of stuff is definitely the remnants of how he was originally written, of like knowing every conspiracy theory and just being a nuisance to this guy who wants to know the truth about everything.
So Alex initially offered the role of Bill Cipher to David Lynch. And when David Lynch turned it down, Alex voiced the character himself in an impression of Gordon Cole, David Lynch's character from Twin Peaks, who always speaks very loudly because he has a hearing aid that isn't working. I will play some comparisons real quick for the listeners.
Behind one of them is a memory of him inputting the code. I just need to find it, and Gideon will pay me handsomely.
I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
You know, I'm impressed with you guys. You're a lot more clever than you look. Especially the fat one.
Can I speak to you a moment in private, Coop?
Of course, Gordon. Harry, can we use your office?
You might ask the sheriff if we could use his office.
Literally earlier today, Charlie and I were talking about how wonderful it is when, like, directors or writers show up in TV shows as actors. That would have been so good.
It would have been really good, but I'm also very happy with the performance.
Well, it's interesting because David Lynch plays a recurring character in the Cleveland show.
Oh, really?
David Lynch voices the bartender on the Cleveland show.
Now, but, I mean, this isn't David Lynch, but now I'm wondering what Bill Cipher would sound like if it was Werner Herzog the entire time.
Werner Herzog would also be good.
I hope people know in our listening audience who Werner Herzog is. If you don't know, he got shot during an interview once, and he was like, it's no big deal, and he kept on going.
Well, then Charlie, you gotta take that clip and run it through, do the duplicating the track thing.
I mean, somebody shot at you and created a wound in your abdomen.
It's not significant.
There are images of Bill in every episode up until this point.
Oh, every episode? I only remember him being in Fight Fighters.
Basically everyone. Yeah, there are more noticeable places than others.
Well, so he's on the window in the attic in the Mystery Shack where Dipper and Mabel sleep. It is shaped like Bill.
Oh, and I guess he is also in the intro of every single episode, so...
I believe he's on the carpet that is at the entrance to the Mystery Shack.
He's in the carpet in the gift shop. He's on, in Carpet Diem, he's on one of the makeup containers, and he has, like, lipstick on.
I never noticed that one. That's
which is
great.
very good. So Bill also was originally designed green because he's named Bill because he is the Eye of Providence on the dollar bill. And he was colored green. And then everyone on the crew was like, I don't know, he kind of looks like a leaf. We don't want people not taking him seriously because he looks so much like a leaf. So, all right.
But in Fight Fighters, at the very beginning, we see him on an arcade machine, and he's colored green there.
It's okay, that was his retro stage.
Yeah. So that was that was before they settled on coloring him yellow.
Right, they recolored him because they were afraid that he wouldn't be taken seriously if he looked like a leaf. And now he's yellow, and everyone
calls him a Dorito.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Forgive me if I missed this in the episode, but do we know what his deal is? Like, what he's trying to do?
What do you think his deal is?
I just wasn't sure if I missed that.
No, it's not. There are a lot of warnings on the page that Gideon turned to summon him.
Mm-hmm.
But so clearly, whoever the author is has some beef with him. But yeah, we don't know. And he said, "Gravity Falls, it's good to be back," is his first line.
Mm-hmm.
So all we know is he's been here before.
All we know otherwise, he's described as a dream demon.
Oh, okay. I guess that's his deal.
No, there's absolutely more of a deal to him, and that is something we will get to learn throughout season 2, mostly. Obviously, this episode ends in a pretty major cliffhanger in which the shack is lost.
That's true. How are we feeling about that?
Here's the thing. I know that, this is what cliffhangers do. They scare you just a little bit. But I have a feeling that it's not the last of the Mystery Shack. That's a theory that everyone probably made, but there you go.
Isn't this a 2-part finale, though? Wouldn't people have had, 2 minutes to speculate?
No. They did not come out on the same day.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll get to when the next episode came out. Through July 12th to August 1st.
July 12th to August 1st, so...
August 2nd, sorry.
August 2nd, so...
3 weeks?
That is a long time to wait for something.
3 weeks is a long time.
It sure is, Alexa. 3 weeks is a long time to wait. So for 3 weeks, there was just a big hole in the Mystery Shack, which belongs to Gideon now, because if you hold the deed to a property in your hand, you own that property.
Yeah, I've seen how cartoons work.
I'm guessing, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to guess, but I'm totally guessing that what it's replaced with is a shiny new building, maybe a Gideon's Playhouse or something. Maybe a new sound studio, maybe a little sound studio.
That's a good theory.
It's got to be something that Gideon loves.
Like a Pee-wee's Playhouse with Gideon. He's got talking furniture and
absolutely.
But it has to be really sleek and shiny and expensive looking.
The opposite of the Mystery Shack.
Exactly. It has to look like something that would absolutely rip out Grunkle Stan's heart.
No
and
mystery
anything that
at
spends
all.
more than a cent on anything.
Oh yeah, I got you.
All the answers are already there. The door is this door opens, by the way, and it closes. Behind this door is...
They're taking the mystery out of the Mystery Shack.
Everything on the shelves are reasonably priced.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh no. Where's the gouging?
Stan sees reasonably priced items and reacts in horror.
So where's my heart pills?
And all the hats are just of Gideon's hair. That would be so cute.
I would buy a hat of Gideon's hair.
Little visors with a tuft of hair. Yeah, I love that.
Now I want to see Dipper loses his hat and has to replace it with a souvenir Gideon hat.
With a Gideon hair, and then that's his hat for season 2. Because the last time he lost his hat, it lasted a season.
I didn't even think
so
of that.
When I remember where I was when I saw this episode's promo. I was
You were in your uncle's mindscape, and you decided to turn on the dream vision of a TV.
No, that's the next episode. I'll get to that.
Oh.
And this one I was in one of the Carolinas on some trip, and the house they had rented or whatever, the room that we'd got, and had Disney Channel on, and I didn't know that the promo was coming. I wasn't looking for it that I knew of. I think Gravity Falls was just on, and I saw the promo and got really remember how excited I got seeing it in the promo. There was one shot of when Bill makes the deal with Gideon and he has that blue fire handshake, and I was like, that's him. That's Bill. That's the guy that we've seen in all these images who has been teased for so long, and to have him as a character, I was because I wasn't really sure if we were getting that or when we were getting that, and I didn't even. It was also funny that one of the images that they released as a promo, or maybe it was leaked, something had the journal page about him titled Bill Cipher. And I read that as the author developed a cipher for dealing with Bill. So oh, this is the Bill Cipher. And I didn't realize that was his last name. I thought he was just gonna be Bill, kind of how in Twin Peaks it's just Bob. Yeah. I was.
But because in Rumble's Revenge the cryptogram says my name is Bill. Although it does also say Mischief is my middle name, but not my first.
Which, yeah, and I was okay, I guess he doesn't have a last name. He's Sheriff.
Oh, just a middle name? That's one of those memes about the Joker. About how weird he is. To me, it's just regular string.
Regular string. Yeah.
I have a middle name, but no last name.
So I'm curious about, David and Alexa, you had been watching the show in order to catch up to this point before we recorded, and so I want to get into your mindset at the end of the previous episode, at the end of Land Before Swine, the previous episode. What were you thinking as far as the trajectory of?
You knew you were watching to that point so you could be on the podcast for the 2-part season finale. What did you guys think was going to be in the 2-part season finale?
The first thing I thought was going to happen was we were going to go into the vending machine. I remember when I was here last time, I think we mentioned that the vending machine doesn't come back again, and I thought you were both tricking me, and so I was waiting for the vending machine to come back in the past, and it did!
It came back in this episode.
I know, and I do love that they took my expectation once again and just threw it out into the trash.
There's a switch at some point where Bill disguises himself as Seuss.
I was about to say, was that Bill saying this is really boring?
Yes, that was Bill.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Most people read that as Bill intentionally screwing with the audience.
Right. If he could see everything, why can't he see into the audience and screw with you? Well, I'll tell you where I was going to this episode. It's a minor thing. It's really not related. It'll probably tick off a lot of the fans who are waiting for us to talk about Bill some more. But so at the end of Boys Crazy, which was until now the last time that we saw Wendy. You recall what kind of went down at the end of that episode?
Wendy found out that Robbie was manipulating her. She broke up with him and ran off with a huff. And Dipper immediately swooped in, was like, "Hey, let's hang out." And she's like, "I'm kind of going through something."
Right. And so I read that as a twist in their story, and I thought, that's something that we're going to have to pick up later. But I guess not, because Wendy and Dipper are just kind of hanging out at the beginning of this episode. And I remember watching and being like, "Oh, okay. I guess it's fine." But there was this is years after the fact, a tweet at Alex Hirsch from @Rosario_parody_. How did Wendy forgive Dipper after the stunt he pulled in Boys Crazy? And he replies, "Friends forgive each other. Also, he's 12. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. At the time, it felt like a missed potential for more character stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have been expecting going into a finale. I don't know. Again, I think based off of the way people talk about the show, I was definitely expecting this to be like, okay, this is going to bring together a whole lot of plot stuff and like really kind of define the trajectory of the next season. And I feel like there's probably more of that we might get in the next episode. I don't know. I think, for me, I feel like the relationship of the show that I think is the most interesting and most important is, of course, the siblinghood of Mabel and Dipper.
No, that's true. That's
kind of what the show is, that the focus is Dipper and Mabel, who don't know who the author is, don't know who Bill is. Some things went down that they were not privy to, so they are kind of the audience avatars.
Oh, for sure.
As the information is being revealed to the audience, it is also being revealed to them. So what Dipper and Mabel are trying to learn, what Dipper's fascination especially is who wrote the journals, why did he go missing? And we got some hints towards that this time around.
A little.
I still think it's Grunkle Stan. Or I did want to say that I did kind of expect this to be a Grunkle Stan centric episode. I was also hoping for the pinata to show up at some point.
I mean, it does take place entirely on location in Grunkle Stan.
That's true. Yeah.
Live from Grunkle Stan, it's Gravity Falls.
I thought we were gonna. Well, the thing is, we kind of did. I thought we were gonna go like way back in time, back where the journals were created, or like when it was first written. But we kind of had a little bit of that in this episode, so I wasn't too far off. Of course, I didn't say it out loud to anybody, not even to David.
I think this is something that not to get too anti-establishment or whatever. But
are you getting political? Are you getting political right now on this Mystery Chef Look Back podcast?
No, please get anti-establishment. Ella and I hate the establishment. We made that clear in episode 2. One of the first things that Ella says to Alexa is when the revolution comes.
I did say that. I'm on several lists now, but it's fine.
What I'm about to say is probably going to be far too general of a statement, and people are going to tell me I'm wrong, and I probably am wrong because I haven't seen a lot of TV shows made for kids. But what I have seen, it feels like this is something that always bugs me, is every episode feels like it has to mean something, and half of the time the meaning is listen to your parents and the adults in your life, and maybe they're gonna turn that around on me, and the actual story is gonna be that Grunkle Stan learns that maybe treating all maybe male relationships don't have to be all about violence and convincing somebody to be quote unquote tough, and maybe that's a toxic and bad thing.
I just want to say shout out to Seuss though, because Seuss at least was being like, hey, why are you so mean to Dipper? Like very straight up, like you're being mean to Dipper, there's no way about it.
Yeah. And we need more people like Seuss who are able to call out toxic masculinity to those they respect.
Shout out to all
trust.
the Seusses in our lives.
And he still likes Stan. He still wants Stan to love him like a son.
He still
apparently
thinks Stan looked good rollerblading.
Didn't look that bad, huh? Hey, something weird's going on. So there, to the point that David was making about this kind of being a harbinger of things to come. This is the first time that the design of Mabel's sweater is symbolic, has a deeper meaning. The design was a sunset, like going over the water.
Wait, what did you say?
I saw a different meaning because I am bisexual, so I just try to look for the bisexual flag everywhere I go.
You just see bisexual colors.
Well, that's also true. That's a given.
Someone tweeted at Alex Hirsch when he was calling out Disney for, censoring LGBT representation. Someone replied to the tweet and said, "Is Wendy supposed to be bi?" And Alex responded, "It would be weird if she wasn't."
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the sunset on Mabel's sweater here is intended to symbolize the transition into a darker narrative.
Oh, wow.
A darker tone. Yeah. The last story observation I have that I can't get out of my head, let alone Seuss getting out of his head.
The British Dogman has one line.
That also feels very much like a Matt Chapman line.
Yes, that was Matt Chapman. That started with Seuss's Dreams being basically a bunch of children's shows, like
very Dora the Explorer. Like, can you find the apple?
And the joke of the British Dogman is that at one point, Seuss watched a UK-based preschooler show like Simon in the Land of Chalk Drawings or Thomas the Tank Engine and wound up getting nightmares. Matt Chapman later got to parody British preschooler shows in the Two More Eggs segment, Trunkles.
There comes a time in every young man's life when he gets his first pair of trousers. Though you may have heard them go by some different names in the schoolyard. Breeches, dungarees, knickerbockers, pants. But the proper medical term is trousers.
But the line the British Dogman has is...
Hello. Who's quack for a stig in the pudding?
And I could never tell what the line was. Even with subtitles, I'm like, are you sure that's what it, like, every time there's a transcript or subtitles, I'm like, I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's something different every time.
I kind of like not knowing. I love being totally unaware when hello.
I was
Who's quack for a stick in the pudding?
You would think for one line, they would just get someone on the staff to do it. I'm sure Matt Chapman could pull off that voice excellently.
Uh-huh.
Or John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson. For reasons we cannot figure out, it is Clancy Brown from Shawshank Redemption, Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob, and Lex Luthor from Superman, the animated series.
Well, a million different characters and a million different things.
The fact that they cut the going into Seuss's mind, we're left with the implication that that's all he ever dreams about is the British Dogman. Except after he dies, obviously, because the British Dogman is now dead. Like, forever.
He's dead now.
He's dead now. We should probably take a step inside somebody's mind here Do we want to... Who wants to host the Hall of Conspiracies inside their head today?
Should it be the brand new docent?
Oh!
You know what? Yeah, as your first duties as docent,
Okay.
We're going to enter your brain.
Okay. I'm ready.
Blueska do. We can too.
I love this. I can too. He's right. Is what that segment would have been like.
Ladies and gentlemen, right this way to the Hall of Conspiracy.
Find the car. Oh, dude, there it is. That's right. Yes.
Will you help us? And then they pause, and Susie's like, yeah. And then they're still paused. Great. Thanks. All right, so.
Many people believe that Stan has a secret twin brother. A long-lost twin.
This was a theory that had been talked about.
This is a theory that had completely
since...
overtaken the fandom, so if you did not believe it was canon, you had no way to interact with them, and that's how Ella and I found each other, as the only two people who hated this theory.
Yeah. But we have, thanks to prettyandpone.tumblr.com and the Internet Archive, we have a master post that basically compiles an amalgam of what people were thinking. This is not... I don't know if it's known who the single source is. It's very much a group effort by the majority of the fandom, not us at the time.
Oh no, we did not contribute to this in the slightest. The most we contributed to this was Ella took a screenshot of discovering something that doesn't exist from the Phineas and Ferb theme song and wrote Stanley Pines over the unicorn turtle.
Yeah, which we'll explain that, because I have pulled from that post the main points and the main images that we can use to summarize it for you. Perfect. And for the dear listeners. Okay. The thesis is that twin number 1 is the Stan we all know and love, Stanford, which is the Alex Hirsch confirmed full name of Grunkle Stan.
Okay.
Twin number 2 is the Stan we don't all know and love yet, Stanley. Whether or not that is twin number 2's real name, I don't know, but for purposes of this theory, we'll just call him that.
Evidence number 1, El Diablo. Stan's car.
That's Stan's car.
Notice the license plate. It says STNLYMBL, which I assume means Stanley Mobile. Here's the funny thing, though. Grunkle Stan's real name is Stanford, not Stanley. So why in the holy mackerel heck would he get a license plate that said Stanley instead of his full name Stanford? The answer is obvious. As stated by many GF theorizers before me, it's not his car.
Oh, wow.
So that is that's like sort of the exhibit A that a lot of people were noticing, even as far back as its first appearance in Legend of the Gobblewonker.
Well, we don't hear Stanford until the episode after that, or 2 episodes after that.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that you notice that first, and then it doesn't add up. So evidence number 2 is the boxing comparison. Pretty and Pone says, a wonderful Tumblr user named Maritova posted this screenshot and pointed out a familiar character in the background.
And I posted that in the Discord chat for Alexa and David to see.
What we're seeing is a screenshot of one of Stan's memories when he's talking about his dad toughening him up. It's when young Stan is put in boxing lessons, and there's a kid in the background with his face buried in a book that has been circled. Looking at the parts of these two boys' hair, we can deduce that they're the exact same shape. Secondly, look at the orange circled parts. They both have
tufts.
that weird hair floof thing. Dipper and Mabel have it too, which is very interesting.
Evidence number 3, the appearance of the older Stans. And I have just
older meaning, in this case, flashback.
Yeah, older as in the past. I have sent to David and Alexa younger Stan as he appears in The Time Traveler's Pig when they travel back in time, and younger Stan as he appears in Boys Crazy during the breakup with Carla Hot Pants McCorkle.
That Alexa loved a lot.
Love that one.
Stan wears glasses in his 20s/30s. Stanford doesn't. They also happen to be different from Stanford/Grunkle Stan's. Stanford's have thicker rims and lack those golden thingies at the top ends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The next piece of evidence is the extra hidden room. This is referring to the episode Carpet Diem. And they say, maybe it was Stanley's room. At least that's what I'm guessing it was. Why? His glasses were in there, if we go back and assume that Stan in the snow is this Stanley. Then that's his glasses in that room, and being in that room made Stanford almost impossibly grumpier. Taking this piece of evidence, we can deduce that, like Stanford, Stanley also lived in the Mystery Shack at one point. Probably before it was the Mystery Shack. See Time Traveler's Pig, when they ran past the shack in the snow. It had this huge satellite antenna and barometer on top. This snowy shot of the shack is also from the same scene where we saw that picture of Stanley looking out the front door. Overall, we know that Stanley housed himself at the shack at least once, probably used that secret room as his own, left his glasses in the secret room, something bad happened between Stanley and Stanford, which is why Stanford is bitter about the room.
Next we have twins run in the family. Basically, there's this old wives' tale about twins. According to this tale, twins not only run in families, but they also seem to skip a generation, too. Granted, this assumption may not be true in the real world, but maybe Alex Hirsch knew about this wives' tale, being a twin himself, and added it to the mythos of Gravity Falls.
So that is the very long and very short of this theory at the time. That's we have more in the Hall of Conspiracies, but I wanted to get to address that one because this was like the theory at the time of this episode.
Well, what do you guys think of this theory? Ella and I obviously thought it's so on the nose, it's so edgy.
I know. I was gonna make the theory even sillier. Well, first of all, I did notice that Grunkle Stan didn't have glasses in some flashbacks, but I just assumed that, you know, he just forgot them sometimes. Like,
right, I read that as like a kid who gets into scraps a lot and and gets beat up a lot. Also, probably broke his glasses a lot.
Exactly. So that was one thing that I noticed it, but I didn't think anything of it. Like,
or maybe they're reading glasses.
And I was like, okay, if we're gonna be silly with the twin theory, I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be funny if his twin was Carl from Up, because he looks exactly like him when he wears his little suspenders when he was like the vacuum cleaning guy. Because the whole time I thought, and then when you were talking about Stanley Mobile, the whole time I was like, when you were pointing out the letters, I was like, oh, it's for Stanley Mabel. I was like, like I thought what Mabel did was, like she didn't know.
Mabel got him a vanity plate.
Aww.
Hey, that's not my name. That stands for loves you.
Stan loves you, Mabel.
L-Y.
There you go. See, that makes way more sense to me.
I saw there was a joke theory that was like, it stands for Stan is really Mabel.
Yeah, that's what I thought the whole time, was just like Mabel gifted him with a little vanity plate because she didn't exactly know what his full name was, and it's Stanford, so she was like,
right. But if it was, I would argue that if it was truly from Mabel, it would have way more glitter.
Yeah,
on
she wanted it to be serious because it was a serious gift. But she was like, but she also wanted.
Dipper helped her with the gift, Ella.
Exactly.
Okay, he helped by brushing off the glitter. This is a road hazard, Mabel.
So, with this podcast not just being a look back at the show, but a time capsule of fandom as it was, I'm getting the sense that maybe some of your dislike of this theory also came from the way people talked about it online.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yes. Because they were so convinced of it.
Okay. I was like, maybe I'm just projecting from being a Star Wars fan, and Star Wars fans were absolutely annoying about everything between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, so Star Wars fans stopped being annoying?
Yeah, that's good. Didn't hear about that. Thanks for telling us. That's okay.
You know, some of them are getting better now that all the
Star Wars fan. No offense.
No, but David, picture after Force Awakens, everyone was like, no, Rey is clearly this person's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And would get mad at you if you said something else.
Now, see, you know how I always responded to those people after Force Awakens? I was saying, you know what, everybody? Rey is a droid uploaded with R2's consciousness. It's the only thing that makes sense. R2 only wakes up because she gets to the Rebel base. And all of those flashbacks, the first, in like the weird dream sequence, the first couple are from R2's perspective. So it only stands to reason the whole thing is R2-D2. And she's the only being in the galaxy that can talk to a droid. We've never seen anybody else do this before.
Those are her initials. Rey is her first name.
Rey2D2. I'm Rey. Rey who? Rey2D2.
That would have been such a great ending. I would have loved that. I would have given it a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Rey2D2.
Yeah, she taps into her native tongue.
I mean, as somebody who is like hearing this theory completely separated from online fandom, I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds like it could be a fun direction that the show goes in.
Just that people would not let us accept that maybe it won't happen.
Yeah, and it was the fact that I liked the stories that they were coming up with this theory. I was like, okay, yeah, you can, that's a creative avenue, but I almost didn't want... I wanted to be along for the ride, you know? I didn't want to feel like I was smarter than the show. I wanted to...
that is my least favorite way for anybody to experience media. I never can get into, like, conspiracy theorizing and things because I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh, welcome to the podcast, David.
I'm the opposite. I'm the total opposite. I totally believe that, you know, Mabel bought that vanity plate and put her name on it.
Well, it's interesting. I like theorizing, but I don't want to be right. I just like coming up with ideas.
That's fair. Yes. I think that's probably the big difference is like the difference between engaging with the show and wanting to like speculate on what could happen
and versus like I want to win. I want to win at watching this show.
I want to win at watching TV.
I feel called out. I totally want to win.
But that's why I loved again back to Star Wars. I loved Rian Johnson's Knives Out because it made me feel stupid.
Because it literally told you the answer to the movie in the first 30 minutes and became something entirely different.
I remember Ella was like, I told Ella, hey, so what's going to happen is you're going to think you have it figured out in the first 30 minutes, and then after that, you're going to be thrown off.
And guess what I did?
And then I told Ella that. I warned her that. And then 30 minutes in, she's like, oh, I get it. And I'm like...
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. There's definitely nuances to it where it's like, on some level, the whole time, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, he's a great uncle. He has a sibling by necessity of being a great uncle.
Yeah, obviously, one of their grandparents has to be his sibling, otherwise they would not exist.
Yeah, but beyond that, it's an interesting one.
So, oh boy, is there a lot hidden here that we need to talk about. So let's get to that.
So, Katie Diaz in a YouTube comment has translated the spell Gideon used to summon Bill.
So what Gideon says is...
Triangulum, Entangulum, Veniforus Dominus Mentium, Veniforus Vedentis Armium!
Roughly translated in Latin, that is, Triangle, I invoke you. I come to the defensive barrier of the mind. I will see the barrier destroyed.
That was a spot-on Gideon.
Well, thank you, dearie.
Oh yeah, no, Ella's been voicing Gideon in everything we've worked on together for nearly a decade at this point. After that, his eyes glow, and he says... And I'm sure both of you are savvy enough in audio editing to understand that was reversed speech. What he is saying is...
Backwards message! Backwards message! Backwards message! Backwards message! Backwards message!
Which is similar to the backwards messages in Weird Al songs where he's like, hey, this is bad for the record. Stop doing that.
Or man, you must have a lot of time on your hands. And, I remember Larry, I think.
Gravity Falls Conspiracies posted this. It was submitted by an anonymous user. Did anyone notice that when Gideon asked Bill to go into Stan's mind, Bill thought about it, and after seeing a picture of Stan's face, a sort of map appeared, and Bill said that he was convinced? Could this be the tattoo on Stan's back? So if you haven't noticed, there is a tattoo visible on Stan's shoulder a little bit, but it's covered by his sleeveless undershirt, because I don't like the other term for that article of clothing.
No, we don't have to mention
We don't have to.
Tank top?
Yeah, tank top.
But so we never get a good view of it, and the message that the symbol that appears on Bill's face after Stan's image seems to match up with Stan's tattoo.
And I remember you were, Alexa, I think, kind of reacted when he's like thinking about Stan, and then there's picture of Stan, and there's that symbol, and and somehow he's convinced.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess there must be a deeper meaning to it if, it is concealed from the viewers. In the previous episode, Land Before Swine, when he rips off his shirt to fight the pterodactyl, because that's not really happening, there is a cryptogram that says...
It translates to lies. It's just 4 letters, translates to lies.
Lies, yeah. So there seems to be hinting that there's something important about that shoulder tattoo. Okay, so there, I've sent you, Alexa, the image of the tattoo supposedly on Bill's face, as well as what it looks like obscured by the undershirt. Alexa, what do you think of that?
This almost looks like a weather vane of some sort, which they do have on the Mystery Shack. But then again, it also looks like a person. Are they trying to say that the weather vane is going to be its own character, possibly?
Ooh.
It also kind of looks like Stan. It looks like a fez and the dots
are
eyes,
the
and then the big nose.
Stan, yeah.
Just trying to figure out that bird or butt that's off in the top right
Is it
corner.
a bird or is it a bud?
These are the questions.
Am I a bird or am I a bud?
Because, right, the weather vane kind of moves whenever, the wind shows up. I'm pretty sure we see a bird fly past it. I wonder if a bird has to hit it at the right angle for the wind to be like, ooh, I will reveal everything,
And that weather vane is how he steers the house when he flies it with balloons to South America.
Because he's Carl from Up. Yeah,
he even is in South America in this episode. There's a flashback to him at a prison in Colombia.
That's true.
Oh,
okay.
And that was even that was foreshadowed. Well, it's kind of that it's a reverse callback sort of situation.
Because in Hand That Rocks the Mabel, when Bud Gleeful mentions Colombian coffee, Stan says, "I went to jail there once."
All the way from Colombia.
But yeah, that's what I think.
This is also from gravityfallsconspiracies.tumblr.com. I'm pretty sure all of these are from there today. So vehemently separated by hyphens username submitted holy Okay, so in Boys Crazy, Grunkle Stan is telling everyone to have gold for the upcoming apocalypse, right? If you remember David and Alexa, that in that episode Grunkle Stan has this apocalypse prepper sort of bent and then tells Robbie to bury gold. This is separated by periods. Bill, he told Gideon to buy gold. It's happening.
Bill, wait, what? Did I miss something?
In Boys Crazy, Stan says to Robbie,
"Look, if it makes you feel any better, the apocalypse is coming soon. Bury your gold. You've been buying gold, right?"
And when Bill disappears to go to the shack immediately after Gideon summons him in the woods, he says,
"Buy gold, buy!"
Oh.
Isn't just buying gold for the apocalypse just a trope? Isn't
it? Is. But it's Gravity Falls, and you can never tell what's a joke and
Also,
what's
you have
not.
to understand that most of the people watching this show were children who weren't familiar with a lot of tropes.
But I see that point, but I also think, yes, this is the kind of show where you can't really...
No, you can't really know, yeah.
I think the gold comes into play. I think it does. I think... Oh, there's a reason why Bill Cipher might be yellow, too, because of gold.
Okay. See, this is why you're the docent. And can we have our docent read this next one?
Oh, yay. Okay. This one was submitted by Amazing Kuma Blade. I hope I said that correctly. If you look at the circle around Bill Cipher, you'll see the images associated with certain characters. Mabel's been said as the shooting star, Dipper as the pine tree, and Seuss as the question mark.
So those are symbols from the wheel, and when Bill meets the three of them, rather than saying their names, he calls them by those symbols.
Oh.
Stan's family, we meet at last. Question mark, shooting star, pine tree.
Oh. Oh my goodness. If you look at them on the map, they make a triangle when connected to each other. At least it seems like that. Maybe each thing has some kind of connection with two others, making another triangle. When I connected each thing to make a triangle, weirdly, the star with the eye on Gideon's tent of telepathy was the only thing not connected to anything whatsoever. Does it mean something? Without it, everything looks like some sort of spell circle.
So there are 10 symbols, so connecting everything via triangles does necessarily leave one out. But
I'm sorry, it seems like you could have easily just left the hand out and connected that triangle to the star. Like, it's shifting it is... They're not perfect triangles. They're not isosceles triangles. So
no,
it's
you're
not,
right. They're not equilateral triangles.
That's
you're
what
right.
I meant. Not perfect triangles, equilateral.
But I think, so Alexa, we had you go through this wheel in Tourist Trapped and give your thoughts on the symbols, and now we have some inkling of at least 3 of them of what they mean.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm looking at this. Okay, completely different than what I said on Tourist Trap. This is a lot more clear. So Seuss is the question mark. Okay, so Mabel's the star, Dipper is the... Okay, that makes sense. Wendy, Robbie, and Books.
Okay, so Wendy is the ice bag. That ice bag shows up twice.
Right.
In the inconveniencing when they're pouring it into Thompson's pants.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Time Traveler's Pig when they need ice for Wendy's eye.
I will also point out that particular ice bag with that exact tear on the top is the one from Time Traveler's Pig.
But every time an ice bag has been seen, it has been in a Wendy-focused scene.
Yeah, or the ice bag is for Wendy, even.
Oh my goodness. Is this... Okay, I'm trying to guess. I'm wondering if all of these things are... I don't want to say weapons, but things that could combat Mr. Peanut Triangle over here.
Oh, so like the Care Bear stare Seuss did in this episode?
Yeah.
I feel like the triangle theory, I feel like is not what it's going to actually be, because I feel like the triangle is arbitrary.
Right.
But I feel like the way that they're going to seal Bill Cipher back away into the great beyond is if 10 characters stand around a summoning circle in this order. And so they have to get all 10 people who are represented by these different symbols all together. And that's what will lock him away again.
But also it says, why is this left out? I think at some point when they're in the summoning circle, they have to like position themselves in a way to form that star.
I think that symbol's left out because the triangles are
no,
bad
David,
and dumb.
David.
Man,
don't say that to Bill Cipher.
See,
He'll
David,
get offended.
This is why, like, you know, we have arguments sometimes.
You're the Dipper.
You're the
and,
logical one, and I'm the one who dreams. Okay, so...
Yeah.
This is why we work. But also this is why we work well together. Because, like, you know, David will say, that's not true. And I'll be like, don't tell me how to feel. And then, you know, see, I don't think that Mabel is the llama, though. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so Ella, can I go over where all of these other symbols have appeared?
Unless Mabel has a twin. Oh, wait, she already does.
Yeah, you're right. Dipper.
Wait, what?
No, we did talk about LaBam, Mabel's potential secret twin.
If Stan's got a secret twin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let me run by where we've seen these. The glasses, either are Stan's glasses or the glasses he finds in the room in Carpet Diem. There's a picture of the symbol on Stan's fez. That one's easy. There's a picture of the pentagram on top of the tent of telepathy, which I've been told is not a pentagram unless it is upside down. The Discord has informed me.
Interesting.
There's a picture of the 6-fingered hand from the journal. The broken heart is Robbie. In the post credits in Headhunters, Mabel is trying to decide between 2 different sweaters, and then Larry King in the vents comes by and says, "Pick the llama. Llamas are nature's warriors." So many people thought that the llama represented the wax head of Larry King still in the vents of the Mystery Shack.
Myself included. I really wanted... In fact, that was my theory immediately after this episode. I said, all right, Gideon has just torn apart the Mystery Shack. next episode we're gonna see Wax Larry King's head tumble out of the vents, and he's gonna help them.
Oh, I love this.
So this theory was submitted by Anonymous, the prolific fan writer Anonymous.
They submit a lot of the theories to Gravity Falls conspiracies.
Yeah, save some room for somebody else, Anonymous.
In Rumble's Revenge, there was a code that said, "Your reality is a game to me, and I like games."
Your reality is a game to me, and I like games.
Bill said, "Reality is an illusion, and the universe is a hologram."
Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram.
Aww. That was so cute.
No, Alexa, that's spooky.
Oh, sorry. Oh!
That's good.
What's the theory here?
It's that there are two instances of Bill saying that reality is simulated to some extent.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely... Is Bill going to become some sort of, like, fourth wall breaking, reality breaking character?
Oh, he's going to be more than that. He's in your room right now, David. Turn around. Hey there, David. How's it going? Or, no, wait, sorry. Hey there, Buttons. How's it going? That's what he'd call David.
He would. That is my symbol.
So, getting into the cryptograms in this episode, a few more than normal. Stan's Mindscape, which, by the way, I didn't touch on this either, but the background design and the art design of this episode in general, so good. Like, I always forget how amazing this episode looks. Just go that old like kinescope kind of look where they're loading up the Mindscape.
And I love the bouncy kind of Fleischer animation on Bill in this one.
Yeah, it definitely works with, as Alexa said, his Mr. Peanut aesthetic. And the fact that there's this great, like, soft focus anytime they're in a memory or they're looking at a memory, it's definitely evocative of, like, Stan's an old man, and these memories are very old, and some are faded, and and there's, like, a Grunkle Stan crab and a Grunkle Stan bat, and, like, I want to see all the Stanimal designs that they made for this episode.
Hey, wait a second! There is a Stan crab, and in Tourist Trapped, Alexa mistook the symbol from Stan's Fez
as a crab claw.
Oh my god, Alexa, you were right again!
And I have another theory now because of what David just read. Your reality is a game to me, and I like games. I think Mr. Bill here just wanted some friends to play with.
Mr. Bill?
Mr. Bill!
Oh no! Oh no! Synthesized music! Oh no! Okay, so you're thinking, so that's kind of in line with your Bill won't be a villain for long idea.
Yeah, and I think Stan might have been one of his first friends, and Stan, that's why Stan has the tattoo, because he's saying, I'm gonna mark you.
Okay. Best friends get tattoos together.
Exactly, so he marked Stan, and it was like, I'm gonna remember to come back for more games. I'm coming for your children.
Gotcha, okay.
Alexa, would you be Bill Cipher's friend?
Absolutely, we can have peanuts together.
That's cannibalism. That's sick.
I'm picturing Alexa opening a birthday present and seeing deer teeth and just putting her hand on her chest and going, "Oh, Bill, for me."
He remembered.
A beautiful necklace. I make a nice little deer necklace, you know. Oh, we can make deer bracelets and then we can be real friends. Aww. I love you, Bill.
So inside Stan's Mindscape at the exterior of the dream version of the Mystery Shack, the Mystery Shack sign and the sign for Pit Cola just says Pit is are ciphers. They are translated into the Caesar cipher, which is the 3 letters back.
Yeah, basically rather than regular English text, everything is encoded inside the dreamscape.
Which is really cool. You want to read this next? Or I'll explain it because it's a little...
Oh, yeah. I don't know the explanation.
Yeah. So we have actually a new cipher as of this episode.
Is it in the theme song?
No, only because it only appears in the journal pages that we see.
Okay, got it.
When they flip through. So on the journal page about Bill that Dipper reads with all the warnings, it's a symbol substitution cipher, which basically means like there's no key, but basically by brute forcing it and plugging in letters, you can figure out.
So basically an alternative alphabet?
Yeah, you can figure out what symbol stands for what letter.
Kind of like Alienese from Futurama?
Yeah. And on the journal page, this code we get translates to liar, monster, snappy dresser.
So the credits cryptogram reads "to be continued" because they want people to know,
Which isn't... No, but doesn't the screen say "to be continued"? It's kind of a cop-out.
In production, in the draft, it said, "Next week, Xyler and Craz's bode excellent rad venture."
Which I would have loved... Not just because, like, the code we have now is repeating what's already on the screen in plain English, but, like, come on.
Come on, Fahuquapots!
How do you throw away Bode Excellent Rad Venture?
And then we just get the next episode, and instead of being a conclusion to this, it's just Craz and Xyler.
Tell us what's been going on Come On Fahuquapots lately.
Well, we are talking about every single Homestar Runner cartoon in release order. By the time this has been released, we would have finished going through all of the character videos, which was a lot. It was a journey.
Characters.
And I think by now our episode about a very big cartoon, Danger-esque, came out.
Ooh, 2 big ones.
Email stunt double?
Yeah.
Oh my
So there's some good stuff there, and of course, more amazing, awesome things on the horizon. I think Michael would have been on... I think the episode came out when Michael was on with our interview with Paul and Storm, which was super awesome.
I know!
It was a moment, yeah.
And thank you guys for all of the shout-outs you've been giving to Mystery Shack Look Back.
Oh, yeah.
I love being a big old podcast family with y'all.
I think
it's real nice.
The episode about Stunt Double has 3 references to Mystery Shack Look Back in it, I want to say. There's definitely at least one.
I mentioned already the first time I guessed it on the show, either in Sugar Bob or Flag Day, that Danger-esque is one of my favorite things on the site.
Well, that's coming up.
Yeah. If you want to find more episodes of this podcast, go to our host network. What is that again? You know that name?
PipeDreamPodcasts.com. The worst name we could have chosen for audio since it has so many P sounds in it, which are just great for microphones.
Yeah. Destroy your pop filters and go to PipeDreamPodcast.com. You can find other shows like Escape from Walt Disney, How Did This Not Get Made, and Come On Fahuquapots featuring David Spencer and Alexa Cuison.
Yes, that's me.
And you know what? I should just also plug my other podcast. At the time of this release, How Did This Not Get Made Season 3 just started.
Woo-woo!
So I believe our first episode is on an early draft of an Iron Man movie.
Whoa!
This season's got some great ones. One of my favorite episodes we recorded is about A Few Good Ghosts, I think it was called.
Yeah. Which, I mean, one of many titles.
And
yes.
And I absolutely adore the one about the canceled 10th anniversary Channel Awesome movie featuring Tony Goldmark.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a great one.
We got a lot of attention for that.
So you can find that on PipeDreamPodcasts.com, and while you're there, you can also find links to our shows, social medias, and Discord server. And you can contact us at mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com if you want to contribute to our time capsule museum thing. We even have docents now.
That's me.
It's true. You know, they're kind of like the interns of the museum world.
I get paid with love.
It's true. Well, we already loved you, but now you're getting paid in it. Now we dole out love in a check form.
We've loved you for a while, but now you do need to write down the quantity of love on your taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Got it.
Charlie loved me this much on November 3rd.
And then you stretch your arms out, and the accountant's like, okay, all right.
Types that down.
I'm gonna get you a vanity license plate for both of you.
It says CHRLYLXA.
Perfect.
Thank you to Pry and Brian for making the instrumental to our theme song and for voicing Stan in the Hall of Conspiracies intro. The Hall of Conspiracies theme is Lentil Dentist, a remix of our first episode by Sim and the Dim Bulb V2-0. You can listen to the full thing at the link in the description.
Thank you to Sim and the Dim Bulb V2-0 also for doing the instrumental for the Gravity Falls version of Hey Alexa, What Do You Think of This? And Michael William Hunter for doing the vocals. I would like to thank Adam for the stuff he has done with our saliva throughout the years.
It's disgusting, and we love him for it.
And I would like to thank David and Alexa.
That's us!
Thank you, David and Alexa! You're awesome!
You're welcome.
Because I know you're teachers, and we're recording this on a school night, so you really are taking time out of your day to be with us, and we are so grateful. We had a blast.
It's okay because we get to hang out with you in school mornings, but just through the podcast. So.
Oh, that warms my heart to know that we accompany you on your commute.
And that cools my heart. My heart has a much higher resting temperature than Ella's.
Yeah.
So when I'm relaxed, it cools down.
I love it.
It is always just so fun talking to you, whether or not there is a microphone in front of us, which there should be all the time because we're always so funny.
Let's do some, I just bought Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah. Oh, I got so many games. What kind of games you want?
We'll find out.
David and Alexa, just real quick, where can people find you individually? You are both on these fantastic podcasts, but what about yourselves, your plugs?
I definitely use social media to tweet out Rock Band memes and obscure board game references, which is David aka Buttons on Twitter.
I hang out on the Twitter to read David's Twitter and come on Fahugelfod's Twitters.
That's a good reason to have Twitter.
That's why I have Twitter as well, actually.
That's probably the only good reason to have Twitter. So.
Yeah, you can all follow at HottyTot on Twitter. That's an acronym for Hey Alexa, What Do You Think of This? And I guess you could say things to me. You could ask me what I think of things over there.
Anyway, dear listeners, David and Alexa will return in Season 1, Episode 20, Gideon Rises.